me about the project in general.
Well, spay and neuter is a very serious issue all over the South, and particularly in George County, Mississippi, and Mobile County, Alabama. So we decided that we would try to raise some funds to do a spay and neuter program for low-income families. And cookbooks are always big sellers, and all of my friends are talented cooks, and if they're not, they're talented liars. So we decided we would take my characters from a mystery series, and each of the 13 cookbook directors took a character, and they created the recipe section for that character, and they added the comments in their own voices. This is all volunteer work. We put hundreds of hours into putting this together, and now I'm making them help me sell it. And we've raised a bit of money, and we're now in our spay and neuter program.
And where is the spay and neuter program benefiting? What areas?
It's benefiting both George County, Mississippi and Mobile County, Alabama, and we have local vets who are giving us cut rate services to try to stretch our dollars as far as they can go.
How many people do you think this will benefit?
Well, I think we can probably get about, realistically, probably about 150 animals spayed and neutered. And we're also running another program for basic vet care. Alita Boudreau, our Secretary Treasurer, wrote a grant, and Banfield funded us with $5,000. So we're also administering that grant for basic vaccinations and basic vet care. And our hope is that we'll get each animal examined, all their shots, get them heartworm tested if they're dogs, get their, feluke test if they're a cat, and then get them spayed and neutered so that they can have a chance at having a happy, healthy life.
Excellent. How about you give me one real quick Southern story?
About food, about animals.
That sounds good. Food and animals.
Did you get the hay story?
I didn't get it on tape.
Okay.
That's good.
Well, I'll tell you a great Miss Velma Brown, who the cookbook is dedicated to, is one of the finest chefs in the Southeast. And Miss Velma has always cooked for my family gatherings and holidays and parties, and just for me sometimes because she loves me. So I needed to get hay in for the horses that I have at the rescue. So I called the hay man and I asked him if he would deliver the hay. And he was like, we don't really deliver hay. So I said, look, I'll make a deal with you. If you'll bring my hay, I'll cook for everybody in the hay field. And if it's not the finest meal you've ever tasted, I'll give you an extra $1 a bale to bring the hay in and stack it. And so he said to me, my mama's a really good cook. I'll take this bet. So we set the day for the hay delivery, and I called Miss Velma. And I said, oh, help me, help me. So Miss Velma cooked all kind of wonderful stuff. And I drove to her house with my empty pots, and I put all her food in my pots, and I drove home. And so I served the food, and they all tasted it, and I was watching their faces, and Butch looks at me, and he says, my mother's a really good cook, but I gotta say, this has got her beat. You get your hay. And so now every year he brings it.
That's great. One more time, introduce yourself.
Carolyn Haines.